It's lovely here. We used to call it on the radio. I used to do a radio show years ago. And then we had an FM licence. We bought it temporarily whilst I was at university and got to go on live, you know. And I never had that kind of responsibility because potentially, you know, tens of thousands of people could tune in. We got some following, but I was always worried about dead air, where you can't think, what am I going to say next? Let's fill this with something or other. And they used to call it dead air, and it was the death knell of any radio station, because if people are tuning along and they go along the dial and you're not saying anything as they go past, then they won't pick up your channel. So it's quite important. I'm going to try and turn the camera around. Nope. Oh. Did this last time, didn't it? Sod it. So yeah, it's a beautiful day here in sunny Lincolnshire. And I wanted to talk about recycling for a little while. So always, if you come across an object, whether you've got it out of a skip or it's been given to you, and it's very hard to turn things down when you've got nothing. So you kind of say yes to everything. Be careful of that, because you can end up with a yard full of crap. So always look at things that you've been given and think, what could I possibly utilise that for? So I'm all about repurposing things, rejuvenating things and reusing things wherever possible. But you do have to be a bit circumspect. Beyond this tripod, get the bloody tripod out of the way. We're working on that little table there. And over the next few weeks you'll see that develop, and it could become something quite beautiful. And it's the top of a tree that's previously been topped. This is something that most tree surgeons will encounter, where a tree has been growing, minding its own business, and then someone's come along and chopped the very top off it because they don't want it to be tall. That's not what we do in tree surgery. And what it's done is the next growing points have just gone mad. So it's cut out what we call the apical meristem, the tallest growing part of any tree. And then that cuts off a supply of auxin, which is a hormone which suppresses growth lower down, which is what allows that apical meristem to become so tall it gets overfed with nutrients. Cutting it off like that just always makes this mess, often gets infected, and then we're called in 20 years later to correct the problem. We generally do, as long as it's not too late after we, if it's in 20, 30 years, we can generally repair the problem. But we have to cut that piece off, and it's just awful. You can't use it for anything. It's really difficult to process firewood because the cross grain goes in all different directions, so it's just a nightmare to deal with. But if you flip it upside down, cut the bottom off it, and put a plant over the top, and it's a chair or a table. We shall see. It's a side project. There's a guy helping with that who wishes to remain. He doesn't want to know that people are here. He's not on the run or anything, slightly, but he just would prefer to be not on camera at the moment. He's doing most of the work on that. So we'll release that in due course, but probably not until the table's finished. And by the time we finish that table, it's going to look ace.